There is some talks that has been going on now in the interwebs about the new dawn in Africa, especially in the western part of Africa, in the countries that were formerly French colonies. We've heard about Ibrahim Traore, and now the young Senegalese president, the 44-year-old Mr. Faye. When you listen to their speeches in the interwebs and what everyone is saying, it's like the era of neo-colonialism is coming to an end. And we are ushering in a new era in which these countries, under the leadership of the youth, are ushering in an era that these countries will begin to chart their own destinies. That at least African countries will begin to chart their own destinies without the interference of the Western world. There are even some people saying that somebody like Julius Malema is likely also to usher in this new era in the great country of South Africa. But I think there is something that is missing in the conversation. What is it that this new young leadership is bringing in? What is their strategy to ensure that they more or less establish a new order of things? How will they, for example, be able to keep at bay interference from the Western world? How prepared are they? Nobody seems to talk about this. For example, if African countries are to be able to control interference from the West, they must be able to have strong military power, both in terms of personnel, organization, and even technology. And we say for sure that Senegal, for example, or even Burkina Faso, for example, have sufficient weaponry, army technology to be able to keep at bay interference from the West. How about politics? Have these countries been able to establish stable political systems, strong diplomatic ability, to be able to run these countries politically, internally in a peaceful manner, in a way that the country comes together, the political class comes together in case of external political interference. It doesn't matter what kind of government they choose or which kind of politics they choose. It can be democracy, it can be dictatorship, it can be communism, socialism, social democracy. But is it stable enough to an extent that they're able to shield themselves from external political interference? How about the economies? Is it that the population, citizens of this country, are at a state whereby they do not lack basic needs that then gives them, which means that they now fully trust their governments to be able to deliver? Because if people, if citizens of countries in Africa are not able to get what they expect from their governments, clean water, education, food, health care, then their loyalty to their governments cannot be strong enough to curtail external interference. What about education, especially when it comes to patriotism? Are African politicians and citizens of Africa patriotic enough to defend their countries with their own lives? In other words, is there a strong strategy? Is there a strong shield based on the things I have mentioned that can then protect these countries in Africa, or Africa as a whole, from external interference, and enable Africa to charter a new era of economic prosperity, a new era of pride, in which peoples of Africa have better standards of living. These are the questions that I think we should ask ourselves as Africans, even as we celebrate what seems to be some kind of events that denote that there is some progress, but perhaps there is no fundamental change. Perhaps we're just changing hands from Western Europe, neo-colonizers, to Eastern Europe and China colonizers. And fundamentally, there might not be a tangible change on the African situation. I don't know what to think. Let me see your comments down below. Thank you. Bye bye. Until next time.